So get there early, and that way you have the advantage of composing yourself. You're relaxed, and you can observe. So tips like that, and I would say if you know who you're interviewing with, courier a copy of your resume so they have an actual paper copy, because you have sent it online. I understand they have to print it, but think of what they'll do. Your interview tomorrow is at 10, and you send them at 1 o'clock today. You send them something by courier, and they open it, and it's your resume. That gives them the feeling that you're serious, that you have some kind of attitude, a quality, a little bit of, you're concerned about what they're going to do. So
that is perfect. I agree with you. That's good advice. I mean, that's what some of the things that we teach here, is the little things, and make sure that, because if all things are equal, what's the one thing that's going to stand out for you? And we say, your resume, make sure you have a hard copy of your resume. We actually say have 3 copies, because
you don't know how many people. I tell them, if you can find out, then do that. Send one to each other. If you know you're going to have 3, then you put 3 in one envelope for one person, and they'll know that they can give it to the others. So you have to anticipate that you have to do something to get in the door.
Right.
You want to get into this company, and when you get in there, the rest is really up to you.
Right.
Where you're going to shine. And sometimes people believe that because they're educated, they have a master's degree, or they have a BA or BEd, whatever they have, and they would come to me and I ask them to do something, and they tell me, I have a BA, I have a master's, and I say, yes, I get that, but all it tells me is that you have the ability to learn, and if I give you a task, you can complete it in a given time, because you just completed your degree in 4 years. So that tells me I give you something to do, you should be able to do it in that time, and you can learn. So that's all it tells me. I teach you what I want you to do here, and so that's sometimes you get a pushback because they're so arrogant.
Right. Well, let me ask you, in the movie Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith, have you seen that movie, Pursuit of Happiness?
I cannot sit still enough to watch a movie.
Okay. So I'll sum it up. And he's trying to be successful, and he's homeless, and he has his son.
I remember that.
You saw that part. He goes for a job interview, and he's coming straight from jail because he got arrested for his tickets. He goes straight to the job interview. So he still has on his painting, because he was painting before he got arrested. So he still has on that attire. And he walks into the interview. He lands the job. What would you say if you were interviewing somebody and they were not up to standards dress-wise? What could they say in the interview to make you see past that?
Many times in an interview, you can speak the truth. I don't know what happened in the movie. I think it's based on a true story, right?
Right.
Okay. So many times, as the person being interviewed, you can explain your situation, but you can bracket it at the front with, this is not the reason. It's not because I want you to give me the job and to feel sorry for me that I'm telling you why I look like this or why I'm here like this. So then you say, this is where I am right now in my life. I'm quite capable, or I'm extremely good at what I do before all of that. So sometimes I have had that, but the truth, I think it's best to let the person know the truth. So I would listen to that. Because the piece of paper, the resume, is not what you look at. There are other things you look at with somebody when you're doing an interview. Cool. You look at the eye contact. You look at the body language. Some people go to an interview and they're sitting like this because they saw the interviewer is relaxed.
Right.
But you have to sit upright and you have to come towards them. So you cannot sit here like you don't really care, your hand back here, you want the job, right? So your hand has to be in the right spot. Your eye has to be in the right spot. You have to have proper body language, and you don't speak twang because somebody doesn't understand it. Like sometimes people come from different areas, and I have the hardest time understanding what they're saying. Like, what am I to say with that? And so talk naturally, not because I am black and you're black, that I understand that you have a particular accent from a particular place or country.
Right.
That make it okay. So I ask them to articulate, be sure of what you're doing. But in that, going back to you, I would have had to hear the story. Or I am the kind of person that would say, why? Why are you dressed like I'm coming for this interview?
Right. And
What
he did. So he did.
what
They asked him, it was like, what will people say if you came to an interview like this and I hired you? What would people say? And he said, I hired you and you didn't have a shirt on. And he said that I must have had on some great pants.
well, yes,
So,
he can. So that's fine. Or I would say, so what can I do? What can you do for me that will make me not regret hiring a shirtless person? I would ask that. I would say that. Tell me what it is you can offer my company. Or what can you do for me? Have you studied? Another thing people don't do is they don't remember to study the company.
right.
They don't remember to take a good look at the section of the bank where they're going, the demographics,
Right.
where it is, how far from their home. So there's a lot. What do they do? Look at their numbers. Are they successful? Everything is there. You can find it online for any company.
That's right.
And
That's yeah.
so you should know. You should know so you can talk to them and tell them what you can offer them that they don't have.
Right.
If they have a lot of turnovers, you can find out why. You can dig further and look at the reports from the people that left. Why? So then you tell them, I can fix this. Or I know how to fix this. So you have to make sure that you have something to offer them that they'll want to have you on the team. Because in some cases, they will tell you, what can you do for me?
That's right. That's
so
right.
What can you do to help this company? And you can say, well, I looked at your numbers, and your sales numbers are really, really down. And I think your sales numbers are down because you're using sales tactics from the 50s. I can come here and give you something that's better. So you have to be sure of yourself, and you can say something that is cocky or smacky, that way, but without doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say it, but that's when you hold back your body language. So you let your lips and your words come out, but your body language and your facial expression does not say the same thing. So that is something we all have to learn to do. So.
That's good. You're spitting out some good advice. I mean, you're giving out good advice, and I know that the people that are watching this.
It's just based on your questions. So your questions are equally as great. Without great questions, if I'm in an interview, I have been on an interview, and the person that was interviewing me said, I am the one interviewing you. So then I said, I'm sorry, I need to know what I'm getting into.
Right.
So I ask you questions. I want the job, yes, but I don't want the job at the peril of my life or whatever.
Right.
So I asked him question, and then he said to me, you were the only one bold enough to ask us. I said, why are numbers so low? What is wrong with your staff? What is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
I said, your customer service index, for example, is really low, and that's an issue. You're not engaging your clients. So, why? What is wrong? What are you looking for me to do for you? What do you want me to do for you? So sometimes you have to turn the table on the interviewer.
That's right. The interview's a two-way street. I say it all the time. They're interviewing you to learn about you, but you are also interviewing them to learn about them, to say, do you even want to work here? Because you may learn about them and be like, I don't even want to work there.
That's one of the reasons why I always tell them to go there early, so that when you get there, you're early. You don't have to rush. You're calm, you're cool, you're collected, and you can sit and observe. They're not going to take you to the office right away. Right. Your appointment is for 3 o'clock. They're going to keep you there till 3 o'clock. Mm-hmm. But if you get there 2:45 or 2:50, you can observe how flabbergasted they are, what's going on there, and you can say, then if this is the wild, wild west out here, what happens in the back?
Right.
And you might have to turn down that job, so these type of things that you have to look with employment.
So,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, so I want to ask you, you are interviewing someone and the person does or says just one wrong answer. Do you give them the benefit of doubt because maybe they don't know? or do you just chalk them off to no, they weren't good? Just one wrong answer out of 20. One of them was wrong.
So that is just 1 out of 20. So that's a 5%, right? That's
Right.
just 5% of the answers. So why? No. It depends on the weight of that question and the weight of the answer, what you do with it. Because all questions and all answers are not equal. If you have 20 questions, there's some that carry a larger weight. One might carry 5% and another one will carry 2, but this other question is carrying 8%. So if they answer the 10% or the 8% of the 10% question wrong, you have to consider how was the question put to them, how was it formed, and what was the answer. So maybe they didn't quite get it. And you always have to make allowance for nervousness, you know, and you always have to make allowance for somebody fidgeting, because you have to remember they are at a disadvantage. I equate it to that. There is somebody, the interviewer has a knife, and they're holding the handle of the knife, and the blade is pointed at you. You can't pull, and if they push, you'll be cut. Your job is to turn that knife around. So you have to figure out a way to answer that question. And one of the things people don't do is that they do not let you finish the questions before they answer. And that is like maybe 90% of the world. Yet, in the book of Proverbs, it tells you, he who answers without first hearing the entire thing is a fool. So you have to hear the question. And if you don't understand what the person said, there's nothing wrong in saying, can you repeat it again? And it's something I learned a long time ago from the prime minister we had here, the father of the present prime minister we have. And Bill Clinton does it. Barack Obama does it sometimes. When somebody asks them a question, they repeat the question.
Yes. Yes.
So once you repeat that question, you're giving yourself some time to formulate your answer. So if somebody asks me a question and I'm not sure of the answer, you can pause and you can say, so you're asking me, what was my most favorite job? Is that what you're asking me? So all that time I'm saying that to you, and you're saying yes, and you will say it again. And once you say that again, that's just going to give me an opening. Now I have my answer has come.
And that is what I tell people all the time, is that you don't have to be so ready to, time they close their mouth, you spit out the answer. You need to think about it. If someone was to ask me, Belinda, what did you wear yesterday? I need a minute to think, what did I have on yesterday? So when they're asking you interview questions about your past work, it's not always at the tip of your tongue. You need to think about it, hear the whole question out, repeat the question to make sure you understand the question, and then talk.
You must repeat the question. It's very important that you repeat the question to that person.
Right.
You always should. And then you don't do it, like you just say, so what you're saying is you're asking me that, and you see what I mean?
Yes.
By the time you do all of that, they themselves will reiterate the question. So there you have more time. Somebody might think all of that might take 30 seconds, but 30 seconds is enough to give you the proper answer.
I agree. And you know what? And it's okay to also say, can we come back to that question? I need to, can we come back to the question? Because I need to think, I want to make sure I'm answering it properly, or that I understand the question. You can ask them to reword it. So I think people are so afraid, and so ready to spit something out that they mess up questions that way.
Well, if you have to sometimes, I think they think that is the weakest link is they don't ask for help, or they don't do a mock interview.
Right.
And you can ask a friend, you can ask your parent, is that what I'm wearing okay? This is how I'm feeling. If you know you're a sweaty person, what are you going to do about it? You don't want to see a sweaty thing. You want to get some deodorant that won't do. So you have to prepare yourself. And you can have somebody interview me for this job. This is the job I'm applying for. Ask me some questions, some way out there questions.
Right.
That is if you're serious about the job.